everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to be basically going over 10 steps that you can start from the moment you bring your baby home into training them to sleep through the night as well as have 3 solid naps. But prior to starting this process, I have a video I made about 5 accessories that I think are a must prior to starting training your baby. So please look at that video before starting a sleep training. It would be very helpful and very efficient for you as well as baby. I did the same 10 steps with both my kids, and they started sleeping through the night about 8 to 12 weeks. And so I'd love to share these steps with you guys so you guys get a better night's rest as well as your babies. So stay tuned. So number 1, babies often come home with day-night reversal, which means they love sleeping all day and they love playing all night. And that is not a good schedule for anyone, right? So what you have to do is, the moment you bring them home, when it's daytime and it's uptime, keep them in a very stimulated environment. And I don't mean like shouting and screaming or anything like that, but a well-lit environment. Do the dishes, talk on the phone, have their siblings interact with them. Make sure they know that this is the time that we're supposed to be up. And then when it comes around to nap time or bedtime, reverse that environment. Make it dark, make it quiet, make it calm. And that will help engrave the idea that bedtime and nap time is associated with darkness and quiet, and the sunlight and activity is associated with awake time, and that would just reverse that fairly quickly. Number 2, babies came from a very tight, quiet, calm environment. So they're not going to want to be sprawled out all loose. So a swaddle is a must. I really loved using the Halo swaddle, and I found that the panels were very thick, so it was easy to wrap the baby around, as well as it didn't hike up or they weren't able to like kind of Houdini themselves out of the swaddle. So I'll link. Number 3, which is a very hard one to commit to, is ensuring that the naps as well as bedtime take place in the exact same spot every single time. And I mean, I know life happens. You've got other kids to take to classes, or you need groceries, or you want to go for coffee with your friends. Totally understand that, totally get that. But if you can do most of the naps and the bedtime in the exact same spot every day, that will also help train babies to understand the smell, the sights, the feeling of the environment that they're sleeping in. And that will signal ding, 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 this is bedtime, this is nap time. And it will make the process so much easier. Number 4, do not rock or use motion to put them to sleep, because they're gonna always want to be dependent on that. So what I do is I don't actually rock my kids to sleep. I give them a massage, I massage their legs, I sing a lot to them, as opposed to, you know, rocking or using a swing or using a carrier or a stroller or a car seat. Really bad habits. And I like to ask myself the same question. Do I want to be doing this in 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, 1 year? No, I don't. I don't want to be driving my kids around trying to get them to sleep in the back of the car. I don't want to be doing stroller walks in the snow or the rain. And no, I don't want to carrier walk all the naps. So I don't want to start bad habits. So if you start by simply patting their shoulders, rubbing their backs to sleep, that would be great. And that will give them a very good habit into putting themselves to sleep. The 5th one, before you put them down into the crib, ensure you subtly wake them very slightly. And I don't mean wake up. No, not that. You want to basically put them in the crib awake so they understand that, okay, I'm being put down. I'm going to put myself back to sleep. If you put them down fully deep asleep, they're going to wake up in about 10 or 45 minutes or something along those lines, and they're going to be startled and they're going to cry. But if you put them in awake, they'll be able to self-soothe themselves back to sleep. So what I do is, once they're happy, I call it milk drunk. Once they're milk drunk and they're, you know, kind of like this, I kind of caress their cheek, I whisper, I love you in their ear, and they can wake up a little bit like this. And then I quietly put them in the crib and I give them another kiss, and I might rub their cheeks. I give them another body massage in the crib, and then I walk out of the room. And that way they're in the crib sleepy but slightly awake, and that will train them to put themselves back to sleep. And that's a skill that we all should have, and especially babies. Number 5. By about 3 months, there should be a pattern as to where the naps are and what time bedtime is. So look for that pattern. I like to keep a journal and keep track of when they fell asleep, how long they fell asleep for, and that will help guide me when the 3 naps are dispersed throughout the day, and then I can plan a bedtime routine and the bedtime. So keep an eye out for the pattern and keep a journal by your bedtime of habits the babies develop so you can help see what schedule they're guiding us and what you are guiding them to do. I think I'm on number 6. This would be a bedtime routine. A bedtime routine is essential and also signaling babies into thinking, oh, okay, so mom and dad do this every day and then I go into the crib. This means it's bedtime. So I love reading a good book and a warm bath and a nice lotion massage. Babies, when they're young, they can't really have a long routine. So I find 20 minutes is enough of a routine. And in 20 minutes, you can often get in a nice warm bath, a lotion massage, some cuddles, some kind of peekaboo games, as well as what was I gonna say? Oh, and a book, and reading a book. And a lot of times, I mean, they might not even know the book is in front of them, but it's a really good habit because as they get older, they'll remember that you were on the rocking chair reading a book, and this will kind of signal it's bedtime. So I think it's really important. I think I'm on number 8. Number 8 is an early bedtime. And a lot of people think, okay, I'm gonna wait till the baby is super tired and then put them in the crib and they'll be asleep all night. Wrong. If you put the baby to sleep too early or too late, it's a disaster. It's horrible. It's going to end in a horrible night. It's best to basically plan an early bedtime, and I like to suggest between 6:30 and 7:30. My kids go to sleep at 6:30 sharp and they wake up at 6:30 the next day. Number 9 is all naps should end by 5 p.m. And you know what? I don't care if that baby looks so cute sleeping and it's 4:59. You don't want to wake them up. They're so cute. They've been sleeping for an hour and a half. I don't want to wake them up. Wake them up. If you don't wake them up now, they're going to wake you up of the night. So think of it as it's good for the both of you. So wake them up before 5 p.m. and get them doing some awake stuff, some exercises with their legs, talk to them, and have some fun. Get them tired for their bedtime, right? And then do the routine and then put them to bed. So naps should end at 5 p.m. I saved number 10, which is the worst one, for last because it's the hardest one. It's the hardest one to control because it's a lot of troubleshooting. And there's no right answer for this number 10. It's troubleshooting. And I call it the 45-minute intruder. And on the internet, you'll probably read it as a 45-minute intruder. A lot of babies, they'll sleep for 45 minutes and they will wake up screaming or wake up seemingly alert and rested. They're tricking us. They're not alert and rested. In fact, they're gonna be super angry if they don't sleep any more than 45 minutes. So do not pull them out of the crib at 45 minutes. This is a transition from really light sleep into deep sleep, and it's a skill they haven't learned yet, and they have to learn it on their own. You can't teach them yourself to go into deep sleep. It's something they have to learn. So when they wake up at 45 minutes and you think, oh, okay, great, 45-minute cat nap, no big deal. No, that is a big deal. So they're gonna wake up and they'll be fussing and whining, or they'll talk to themselves, or they'll kind of toss and turn. Let them toss and turn. Let them talk to themselves. Let them fuss and whine it out. That's what they need to do to learn to go back into deep sleep. It's essential. Or you're gonna have a baby that's gonna be doing a lot of 45-minute cat naps all day long. And that might be fine for you, but that wasn't fine for me because I really wanted them to have a schedule. Having a schedule meant that they would be sleeping through the night sooner, and which my kids did around 8 to 12 weeks. So if they start, okay, so that's troubleshooting. So they might fuss and whine themselves to sleep, they might talk themselves to sleep, no big deal. The big deal comes is when they start screaming, and they may or may not. You go in there, you make your entrance not memorable. So you go in there, you pat their backs, you say soothing things like, I love you, you can do this, and you give them a kiss. You don't pick them up and restart the routine. That's basically restarting everything, and it's not gonna be working, and that's a failed nap. So massage them, but go in after about 5 or so minutes of light crying. And this is, again, to train them that you have to go back to sleep. And I'm telling you, the sooner you start doing this, the easier it's gonna be for baby as well as yourself. So after 5 minutes, rub their back, give them a massage quickly, and then exit out of the room. And then do it again after 5 minutes. And you will find that each entrance, the baby will be crying a lot less. So maybe they'll be crying for 5 minutes, you go in, do a massage, you go out. Then they might cry for 4 or so minutes, lighter crying, you can go back in, do a massage. Each day, it'll become less and less of crying until it's basically done, out like a light for another hour or an hour and a half. That's how you can get 3 hour, an hour and a half solid naps, and then a nice 12-hour bedtime. And I'm telling you, if you go in there and you think 45 minutes is enough, it's not enough. In fact, after 20 minutes, they're gonna become very fussy and whiny, and you're gonna have to put them back to sleep. They'll only sleep for 45 minutes, and the horrible cycle starts again. That's a 45-minute intruder. It's a lot of troubleshooting, and it's kind of guess and check. Guess if this is gonna work, coming in after 5 minutes, massaging them, and then checking what happens. But I'm telling you, let them moan and groan and whine for a bit. It's okay, they're self-soothing, they're teaching themselves to go to sleep. And I'm not a fan of crying, it's really difficult for me, but I found that my babies would basically fuss and whine for about 5 or 6 minutes. I'd go in, I'd give them a massage, tell them I love them, they'd calm down, and I'd go back out. Listen for 4 or 5 minutes. The crying got less and less each time. And it wasn't this hysterical shrieking, but if you develop bad habits where they can't self-soothe, then it's gonna get to shrieking, and I don't know, I can't listen to that, so I never wanted to develop that habit of them being able to shriek and scream themselves to sleep. And I know a lot of people do it, and that's totally fine, but I just can't bear to hear it, even though I know it's training them possibly to have good sleep hygiene. So I will let them learn very quickly to self-soothe, because then it doesn't get to that horrible shrieking, screaming sound. Anyways, those are the 10 steps that I recommend you start from the moment the babies get home into training them to sleep. Please look at my video that has the 5 accessories that I think are a must prior to starting to sleep train. And again, I've done these with both my kids, and they've slept through the night starting at 8 to 12 weeks, and that gave my husband and I probably 3 or 4 awesome date nights every night. And then if we weren't doing date nights, I would be going out and doing some gym stuff or some sports. So it really gives you a really amazing day with your kids, an amazing night with your partner, or with just yourself, or with friends, or with family. So starting good, early, healthy habits is essential. And again, these 10 steps are for, healthy full-term babies. And if your baby's got some sort of, if it's a preemie or other concerns, please don't try these steps, because I'm not sure, because I've done them with my friends' babies, my cousins, as well as mine, but I've never done them or attempted them with babies who are not healthy necessarily or full-term. So